Hey everyone, this is Cody.
And Sean.
This is a place to hear about the paranormal, the supernatural, and everything in between. Yo, what up guys? It's the New Reality here. How's everybody doing?
I'm great because it's finally Friday.
Absolutely. And today was both our long weeks, or this week was both of our long weeks, so that sucked.
I hate putting in 5 days. I think we're spoiled.
Yeah, I don't put in 5 days, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you suck. But I think it's just dealing with the nonsense. I don't know if it's just because, what's going on with the planet or the universe. I don't know, or I'm just working around a bunch of idiots.
Well, let me ask you, Sean, is there ever a good week at work?
Let me think about it. Yeah, when the week is off.
Hey, how's everybody doing today? We got a great episode for you. Hey, before we get into all that, feel free to follow us on all of our social media. Our Instagram is going to be at @the_new_reality11. Facebook's going to be facebook.com/the new reality with 2 Y's. Our Twitter is going to be the new reality with the number 1 at the end. And we do have our website up and running. It's thenewreality11.com.
Hey, folks, if you have any good stories you want to share, ghost stories, obviously this is a perfect platform to do so. Contact us. We got our website, or leave us an email. Your local will be nice because then you can record with us. But, yeah, we want to hear your stories, your ghost stories.
And absolutely, speaking of that, Sean, we do have a great interview coming up towards the end of the month. We're actually going to be interviewing my cousin. She had a possession when she was younger.
Wow.
And I witnessed it. I was fairly younger. I was about 16, so I don't remember everything, but I do remember seeing some stuff. And
was that a couple years ago, 16? Just kidding.
It was 12 years ago. Thank you very much.
So it was a compliment on your side because you're still young.
Absolutely.
So was her head turning or spinning?
It wasn't anything like that, but she was floating. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, that's pretty a trip. So yeah, that's one. What's the other? Don't we have another start?
Yeah. So we have another one coming up. I'm not sure when that's going to be scheduled, but we do have another one coming up, and she's actually a Wicca. So that's her.
Labels herself as a witch, right?
Absolutely, yeah. She claims to be a white witch. I don't feel comfortable explaining that because I don't know too much about it. So I want to have her share what that is and her paranormal experiences and whatnot.
And just to help you guys understand, Cody and I, I don't know. Again, here we go with labels, but Cody and I work with the light, so she deals with energy differently than we do. Not necessarily bad or worse or good.
I think she walks the line.
Yeah, I think that I've run into people. We've had an investigation with a woman that was Wicca, and I don't think she knew what she was doing, and that's why their house was haunted.
Who was that?
That was
you don't have to say names, but
it was a person that I was working with. It was at my work.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Right.
Yes.
So we went in and they were. I mean, he was showing me pictures of full body apparitions hanging out with his boy. So we went to that location.
But she was dabbling with stuff she didn't really understand.
Yeah, she found out that her parents and her family were all Wicca, and so she really didn't do any research or anything. She just started messing around, and that really brought a lot of stuff into the home. And you remember, we went through there and
we cleared it.
Yeah, we did. It was funny that there was a point in the room where we didn't know they were videotaping us in one of their rooms. Which, all we're doing, we got good intentions. We didn't do anything that we weren't supposed to because that's the whole point. We're in there to help the family. But he said the room had all of these things moving around, like a bunch of light phenomenon. And he said when we went in and we cleared it, all of that light phenomenon went away.
Wow.
So it was
now, is there any way he can get that video?
I don't talk to the guy anymore. He actually doesn't even live in the house anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I believe they all went back. They went south.
That would be a great thing to show, though.
Yeah, it would be. It would be great to share with with everyone. But yeah, he said it was crazy. And again, he sent me multiple pictures of just clear full body apparitions. It was amazing. So he called me several months after we did the clearing. He said there was more going on. And I told him...
That's self-inflicted.
Yeah, and you remember because you were involved. But I told him, listen, we can't help you as long as your wife's dabbling with what she's dabbling with. And again, if you don't know what you're dealing with, you really need to do your research and study.
And that's the thing. Don't get us wrong. Like, there's nothing wrong with Wicca or any of the religions. Whatever resonates with you, by all means,
Right.
run it, go with it. I actually started in Wicca, so I do know a little bit about it. What Sean's saying, definitely research before you go dabbling in stuff that you don't understand.
Then you end up having voodoo dolls in your room and stuff's going on.
I think we ran into something like that.
Yeah, we may have ran into something like that. But, I encourage people, like you said, they're searching, right? They're trying to figure out what's going on. The stuff that we can't see but we can feel, people are searching.
Well, it's just like you started in Christianity, right? Was it Christianity first, or was
it
Catholicism?
It was Christianity, then it went into Catholic, then it went into non-denominational, it was baptism.
So you were all over.
Yeah, and I don't think it was by chance. I think that I had to have all those different perceptions, if you will, on how to be the right person. And, religions have their purpose. But again, I always felt strongly within myself that there was much more going on.
Well, see, I think this is why you and I get along so great too. Is Sean and I, and I'm speaking for Sean because I know he does this as well. We take from every religion. We kind of study every religion,
right.
And we make it our own. So we take the stuff that resonates, and we hold on to that, and the stuff that doesn't, we kind of just throw it aside.
Yeah, and I encourage everybody to kind of feel out what if you're searching, search. I truly believe, the Bible is a great book to go to. I think people, there's a lot of people that, the interpretation of what they got from the original book, it may be skewed a little bit, but I still think that there's a lot of symbolic things in the Bible. There's a lot of literal. But again, you're dealing with a lot of different a lot of different writers and their perception on it.
Well, how many times have people asked you, hey, what religion are you? Because I get asked that all the time, and I don't really have an answer for them because I don't like to label it, right?
Yeah.
I guess the closest thing you can say is New Age
or spiritualism,
or spiritualism, but it's beyond that, I think.
And I think, especially, I say this often, being a medium, dealing with spirit, and again, when I started meditating, I had a relationship with Jesus. I would find my place in a meditative state and go to that place where the waterfall was and the rock, and Jesus would meet me there, and it was the most divine thing. And that happened like the first or second time I did a strong meditation.
So you know what? That brings me to a little quick story. Growing up, it was completely different for me. That was kind of a sour taste in my mouth, the word God or the term God or Jesus, and that just because it was pushed on me when I was a stupid young skater and rebel and did my own thing. But it was so pushed on me that it gave me a bad taste in my mouth, and I didn't really start I guess you could say surrendering or really opening up until I dabbled into meditation.
Yeah, but I think that was a good direction for a young soul that had to make a difference, right?
Absolutely.
A lot of religions, I was open enough because I just got introduced to all these different belief systems, and I knew it was to just so I could create what I felt was the right thing. But I think with your generation and why you came to this planet as the soul you are, is you're what do we call you, an indigo?
Yeah,
you're in here to change all the old laws. Mm-hmm. People aren't, the church isn't enough for them anymore. There's more to it. More and more people are coming forward and going, yeah, this religion doesn't tell the whole story. And
well, there's a lot of open-ended questions, right? There's a lot of stuff that needs explaining, really,
right?
Or there's stuff that happens, like, I don't know, paranormal, and people don't understand it, or the ETs, and there's all kinds of stuff happening.
I think a lot of the stories you hear in the Bible are actually mediums and psychics that are connecting, and healers. Jesus Christ had all of these abilities. I think he came to the planet, and by the divine and the creator or the source, whatever you want to call it. I think he came here fully aware. Like, there wasn't anything setting him back. He knew how to heal. Like, again, you're more and more metaphysical. There's healers out there. He was also a medium. He could speak to, the divine and loved ones that have passed. And also, he also was... obviously he was a channel as well because he was dealing with angels.
Right.
I work with angels. I don't want to say I'm Jesus Christ in any way, but I want to say that Jesus had all of those abilities, and I think he was brought here to try to teach us, young souls, if you will, to slaughter on ourselves, to figure out.
Speak for yourself,
buddy. Trying to figure out what's our direction here. What are we supposed to be doing? So he came here to try to give a path, and of course we screwed it up. We used religion and
for control and power and greed,
govern people, and to keep them at bay.
Well, and that's where a lot of the the anarchy is, and a lot of these younger individuals, because that's what they relate to, is power, control, chaos, all of that stuff that kind of goes hand in hand with religion.
Yeah. I think the new generation is here to break the old ways, because it's a consistent pattern that doesn't get you anywhere.
I agree.
And I think that, you see more and more of the paranormal, you see more and more of the metaphysical. I think we're going to talk about animal totems, and we're going to talk about spirit guides and things like that.
And just within the last, I want to say, 15, maybe 10 to 15 years, this stuff has been blowing up, right?
Right.
But past that, or excuse me, before like the 2000 era, this stuff was unheard of.
Right.
Not unheard of, but it was shunned.
Yeah, what's wrong with you? Are you some kind of whack case?
We pretty much are whack cases, though, so it's okay.
I'm okay. I work in aerospace, and you've got to be a whack case to be in that line of work for as long as I have been.
Well, hey, so let's get into our actual topic. That's funny, I kind of went on a tangent there.
Excuse me.
But so we kind of wanted to dabble into kind of the metaphysical aspect of the paranormal field, because it does go hand in hand, and this is where Sean and I started, and we are very knowledgeable in this topic, so we kind of wanted to bring that in. So why don't you tell us, Sean, what metaphysical is to you?
Metaphysical to me is, I like to start with animal totems or spirit guides, or animal spirit guides, and you and I share the same animal totem, the hawk. More often than not, we've been in locations where a hawk shows up, and it doesn't just fly overhead; it'll land on a tree next to us. Mm-hmm. We did have a past podcast when my grandmother passed away, and we did the funeral, and
the hawk
showed up. Well, I think the first time I had the most prominent hawk incident was one night. I was working in the shop by myself when I was a technician. I walked out of the building to get some trail mix out of my truck, and there was an eave next to the building. I hear this swooping of wings, and and it sounded like a big bird. And I look over, and there's a hawk. It is flying next to me, lands on my truck, and sits there and looks at me. I was literally just a parking space away from them. So it was really a crazy thing. I ended up having, it sat there and looked at me for a little while. I walked over, sat down, and waited for it jumped off my truck, landed a little bit of ways from me, and it was just like, I felt like, connection with the animal.
Right.
It was one of the times, but I could think of a good dozen times.
Even just if you have a question,
mm-hmm.
Sometimes they'll pop up, or if you're going through, I don't know, troubles or something like that, they'll pop up. And this is all the time, right? It happens.
Right.
I can't tell you how many times I see a hawk, and it's significant, right? It's not just, oh, hey, we're up in the mountains, there's a freaking hawk.
Right.
There's always a significance to it.
Yeah, well, like Sedona, more often than not, we're going into town, into Sedona, from a canyon. You have to go into Sedona, and all of a sudden a hawk flies past us.
Right.
As we're going into a spiritual place where we know we're growing. Again,
I thought you were going to tell them when we were walking up the river, and you're all, hey guys, I feel a hawk.
Oh,
and a freaking hawk showed up over our head.
Stupid, right? It was funny, right? We were walking, your uncle was there, Tim, and we're walking there, and I stopped, and I said, dude, I feel a hawk.
Yeah.
And it flew right over our head.
Mm-hmm.
It was crazy. Well, then there was that place at, Shaman's Cave.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. That was a crazy. So metaphysical. Okay, so this huge storm comes in, lightning, thunder, crack and bang, boom.
So
bang.
if anybody's ever in Arizona, their monsoons are crazy,
insane. Well, one came in, and all of a sudden it stopped. A double rainbow right in front of the entrance of this freaking cave.
Whoa, man.
It was stupid. It was like far out. Then we looked down, and there's a hawk.
Yep.
below it, just doing a circle. We were up pretty high, but it was just ironic how all those different things happened at the same time. It was like,
absolutely.
Here we go again.
Well, Shaman's Cave is a wonderful place too. Like, I wouldn't even get into that, but we saw a lot of stuff in Shaman's Cave.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, that was.
So I do want to harp on the difference. There is a difference between an animal totem and a guide, or your animal guide. So, the hawk is not my animal guide. My animal guide is a snow leopard, and I figured that out through a meditation. And if you're into that, there's several ways you can find your animal totem and whatnot, or your animal guide. I'm sorry.
Mine's the lion, right?
Yeah, and Sean is his lion. We've talked about that in a past episode too. Yeah. But as far as actual totems go, for sure, a hawk.
Yeah, and I think the hawk is just telling us, hey, you're getting ready to do something spiritual. You're getting ready to have a lesson of metaphysical. And the metaphysical is easy, or it could be considered, the number sequences we see all the time. And, when...
synchronicities.
Yeah, and the hawk could be, like I said, I was on a hike, and I was thinking about my grandmother and how she, during her funeral on a hike, and all of a sudden I look up and there's a hawk above me, and he's hanging out. He's flying from tree to tree, hanging out with me.
Right.
So again, the nice thing about it is you can feel the connection, and it feels as if, you're able to connect with that. That's the animal totem, I think. But
no, you're right.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, absolutely. So Sean, what do you think about going into paranormal investigation? What do you think about crystals?
Are you talking about crystals? I love crystals. So I use, again, going back to feeling, I do like to use black tourmaline for protection.
Great grounding stone.
Yeah. And it's a great absorber of negative energy. So I think when you're in paranormal, man, if you feel like there's something that you resonate with when it comes to crystals, I think you should take it. I love the feel. Every crystal has its own feel. I know you and I have a great time when we go to a crystal shop and we just hold on to it and try to feel where it goes in our body, and that's how we decide what we're going to buy, right?
Absolutely.
And I find that I love every one, so I end up buying most of them.
You do have quite an arsenal. Well, so I do like black tourmaline. I think I would use for a more protection base. I think I would use shungite.
Right.
That's a really powerful stone, and you don't have to bless it or clear it. It stays there forever, which is awesome.
Well, it's funny because I wear that to my job, and because I definitely need that type of protection and to help me deal with all my circumstances. I'll just leave it at that.
No, and there's all kinds. Like we can go on a freaking tangent of all these crystals. It's funny, you're wearing one around your neck, but we can. Amethyst. There's amethyst is a great one. Selenite is a fantastic crystal. I think it's very useful for pretty much everything.
I'll use some stones, especially when we're meditating. I'll use stones just to open up the third eye a little bit more. I like to use amethyst because it is definitely, I've used it in meditations, I've used it in readings, I've used it for healings. And
crystal healings?
Yeah, mm-hmm. I'm a crystal healer. I use crystals and we'll do patterns, and that really, I think we've told you guys in a past podcast that how a crystal had exploded when we had it all set up in a meditation group. That's all energy from obviously the divine and the crystals we have there. You're charging that all up. It's all that crystals and all of the intention there creates, right? And
you know what we've found too during some paranormal investigations, we brought crystals with us, and it's almost like it amplifies the energy, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So
Gaia Earth, that's that energy. And crystals have been around. Takes a long time for crystals to develop.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to throw a number out there because I'm sure they all develop different amounts of time and different circumstances. And
some are found at certain places and some aren't, right?
Yeah, right. Well, we could talk about actinolite, which there's only 2 places in the world that's located, and one of them is where I live.
Yeah. It's all over that mountain.
Yeah, right? All over the mountain, and we've got big boulders of it, and it's this huge healer and conductor of positive energy, and I've got them all over my yard because I need that stuff.
Well, it's funny going up to your mountain. It's like everything that's troubling you, or if you're stressed out or something, there's always a certain place. I know you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
When you go up the road and it just kind of melts off you.
Yeah,
you know?
Yep. There's a point. It was funny because I had a coworker, and she's more into Buddhism.
Okay.
And she had talked about, she goes, man, there was this point in the mountain when you're driving up, it feels like all the negativity just peels off. And I had already felt that way. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Right.
And then Cody said it, and we had established exactly where that spot was. And we both had the same location.
Yep.
We know there's a lot of Native American energy there. I actually talked to somebody recently, and there's a location over by my house as you're going down the road to head towards the highway. Not two, but the other one.
Right.
Like off Little Mine. There's a turnoff that's a dirt road, and there's known to be Native American hauntings there.
Really?
And I just
so what
found
you're
that
saying is we need to go up there.
Yeah, absolutely. That whole area's got definitely has a Native American feel to it, because there is. You know, we've got that one place that we went to. When we just started doing the training in mediumship, had our friend came out and we did our training, and we ended up going out to that one spot and did a healing, right? First thing I felt was Native Americans.
Yep.
Never been there before, but I found it was very, very healing, the energy in that location. It's the whole mountain.
It is. The mountain's very charged, very spiritual place, right?
Right. I'd love to, at one point, because, Cody and myself, our dream is, our dream is to do a show from Paranormal, but we also want to do a healing center, and that goes back into more of the metaphysical. We want to do the Reiki healings, the crystal healings, the meditations, the
ghost hunting.
The ghost hunting. A place for somebody could go that might be struggling.
Right.
Maybe there is a possession or an attachment. Come to this healing center, if you will, to have a healing and to have to pull that negative attachment out of you.
Absolutely.
But again, a healing center with all of the metaphysical things that you can do, psychic, medium,
everything,
yeah.
And even the more 3D stuff too that's healing, like actual massages or
right,
spas or whatever the hell you want to call them.
Yeah.
I don't go to those. But,
Yeah. My daughter does. Oh, foot massage. Let's get some nails done. No, we're not going to do any of that.
Right.
But again, maybe it's dealing with addictions.
Yeah.
Maybe you have, different physicians, psychotherapists, anything that just helps a person be a better person. Yeah. To heal. These ugly things that, what we struggle with in this place. Again, I think there's different, we've got the actual physical doctors and work on the body, but I think there needs to be something also that deals with the spirit. And that's not church. That's
the holistic side.
The holistic side. And I think you see some of that in South America. You see some of those things in Australia. It's all over the world, but the United States really needs to open their eyes up. And
they won't.
Yeah, because a lot of times your illnesses, they will, because we're
eventually.
But a lot of these illnesses, like I get a lot of stomach aches because I have a very stressful job. That's spirit telling me that's not what I'm dealing with, isn't good for me. And there's ways to help that. And I tell you what, I have to really study and work at that. And I think it's a part of my lesson is to learn how to protect myself from ugly, negative energy, people that are around me that just aren't positive. Because I'm so sensitive, it makes it so difficult being around a lot of negative energy. But it also teaches me that I have to be aware that I'm protecting myself. At the same time, at the end of the day, going home and just doing some kind of ritual that puts me back in that divine place. And I have to be consistent, because all it takes is a couple days of not really being focused on it and end up just downward spiral.
Absolutely.
I hate my life. It's just, so it really have to really be aware and specifically focus on that. A lot of people have told me that, especially lately.
The moral of the story is stay in the light. Right. Absolutely.
And bringing that, and when you say that and you bring that into your energy, and ask for the help. When it gets difficult, ask for the help. I encourage that, and there might be a lesson there, but get the lesson, learn the lesson, move on, clear it.
That's it, and don't hold on to it.
Yeah. If something happened, don't dwell on it, because now it's your mind that's creating it. I'm really doing a lot of studying with mindfulness. Our monkey minds just want to create all these ugly scenarios, and you know what? If you really look at it, nothing's happening. You're creating it, and so this person's saying this, and this person's looking at me like that.
So are you saying we create our own reality?
We do, and it'll become a new reality. But when you change your thoughts, it's a new reality.
Absolutely.
and it's freaking not easy. Again, I study a lot, but some people have more distractions than I do. I have to admit, I love my daughter, and she's here, and I'm glad she's here. But because, I'm, a lot of the time I'm focused on trying to better myself. When you bring in another element, it changes how to focus on.
Well, other people manipulate you, and without even trying, without even knowing,
right.
So you really have to be aware of everything that's going on. It pretty much sucks. Awareness is the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
And the greatest thing too.
And we chose it, and it's nice. It's nice in a lot of ways, but then you're looking at a lot. You notice the people that are asleep.
Absolutely.
And you can't just shake them and say, "Wake up."
Well, you could, but you'd go to jail.
Yeah.
So.
And I don't need a guy like Cody coming over and cuffing me.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning into our episode. We did go a little bit overboard, but that's okay. We did,
all the time.
We kind of took it a different way. It was more of a metaphysical aspect, this podcast, but that goes hand in hand with paranormal.
Right.
So that's kind of why we wanted to bring that in and just kind of share a different aspect of what Sean and I do.
And it's a sharing of paranormal and metaphysical, because metaphysical got us into the paranormal, and paranormal is metaphysical.
Absolutely.
It has to do with spirit.
Yep.
Where the spirit is and where it came from is the difference, right?
So, hey guys, make sure you give us a follow. Tell your friends. If you guys have any ghost stories, please send it to our email. It's thenewreality11@gmail.com. And watch out for that interview that we're going to do at the end of the month with someone who was possessed.
Have an amazing Friday.
Bye.